Hi, it's Dr. John Pendleton and Dr. Jane Pendleton. We are back, but no, this is not Maranatha Minutes. You are actually on our new Prepper series. So we want to welcome you to our channel. And I'm telling you this up front, you might want to grab a pen and paper, okay? Because this is going to be a little bit of a lengthy video. It's an important video. It's a video that John and I both have discussed for a while making, and we decided that it was time to go ahead and make it. We are back with my husband, Dr. John Pendleton, and today we are discussing the importance of gas mask. Now, not adult gas mask, or children's gas mask. And here we have a sample of one here between us that you can look at. They're pretty scary looking, aren't they? But right now we want to discuss children's gas masks, what kind of weaponry that they cover you against, whether it be biological, chemical, or nuclear. The kind of gas mask to buy, how to fit your child, and the 8 things you should know before you actually buy or decide to buy a gas mask. And we have a lot of questions, so we're going to get to your questions as well. Okay, so the first question we have from the audience was, should you buy a gas mask? And do you want me to answer that, or do you want to answer that?
Should you buy a gas mask? The availability of different types of filtration systems can be the simple mask that you put over your face to protect yourself from the flu, or if you have the flu or a cold, it can protect other people from your flu and cold. So the idea of a mask that you wear can be beneficial. The type of mask that you may want to get would depend upon the situation you're in, the area, and the likelihood that there might be some sort of contaminant. The United States Army, when I was in Iraq, the only thing it didn't protect us against was chlorine, and that's what chemical they used when they attacked us.
Yeah, so they knew our weak point. They knew Americans' weak points, and that's what they used. So you want to be sure and add and put that question in there when you're searching for gas mask. Will it filter? Because I mean, some gas mask itself is not necessarily all that's helping you. It's actually this filter set here that you're filtering. So you want to be sure and get a filter that will filter out the additional biological chemicals like chlorine or even Ebola. I mean, there's a lot of questions. It depends your scenario in your area what it would be. And I would like to add that if you notice our government supplying and stocking up on something, or they came out with a new product, odds are you should too. As a military family, I think that we know that. We've had tidbits of knowing information here and there. It's usually inside information between CIA, NSA, your military informants. They have tidbits and knowledge here and there in all those meetings. So if you notice the military getting nervous and the soldiers getting nervous about something, then odds are you should be too. That means they know something that you probably need to know as well. Because remember, they can't warn everybody, and even if they did, not everybody's going to listen. Some people think prepping for something like a nuclear event or biological warfare is absolutely insane. If you're of God, you won't fear. Well, John and I are both ministers, and we're telling you that the Bible tells you to prepare. You want to tell a little bit about the ministry of this, why we prepare?
Well, you prepare for a couple reasons. Number one, you can't depend on somebody else to prepare for you. So in what God has given you to use, we're to take care of our family and one another and the church at large. In the event that there is some sort of issue in your area with a contaminant or something that you suspect that may happen, having a mask to filter out contaminants as far as
like an N95 mask?
Something. We were at the store yesterday, and a lady said she took care of a baby in a nursery. Was talking to Janie, and the baby had a virus, and the virus is very contagious. So if you know as a parent that your baby's contagious and you bring it to church and you're contagious, it might be better to stay at home or to put a mask on yourself so that you protect yourself and other people, so the whole church doesn't come down with some. I think it's polite and good and proper to kind of keep care of yourself and don't spread your germs.
So John and I both know that you can stay alive without oxygen for 10 minutes. 10 minutes to recovery or death, okay? But in a chemical warfare, do you know you only have 3 minutes? You have 3 minutes to death in a chemical warfare as far as oxygen goes.
Yeah, it takes the body different times to die, but if you can protect yourself from chemical and biological agents, you're better off. Sometimes it might mean just wearing long sleeves.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how long sleeves will help you. And we'll talk about chemical suits in one of our next episodes. Right now we're discussing how to buy your family mask and the 8 things you need to consider before purchasing that mask. What you want to be sure to get is something called an NBC mask and the filter, which basically covers biological, chemical, and nuclear fallout. Okay, so that's important. Make sure that they cover all 3 and make sure that your filter itself covers chlorine. And they have a lot of new masks on the market, so ask somebody at a supply store or go online and do your research. It's very important. This is a big investment. The children's gas masks are probably about $15 to $20 a piece. You can buy them in lot numbers of 3 or 5 or maybe even 20 for less than that. But you want to learn how to clean them. You want to get your children used to wearing them. They can even decorate them up. You know, put them on them now. Don't wait till last minute, because they do have a very strong plastic rubbery, they have a rubbery odor to them. Something like that would give Missy a very bad migraine. And there are also different types, and we're going to go over that here in just a minute. We have several samples of children's and babies' gas masks. People are worried about their babies, and we're going to show that to you in just a minute. Yes, they do make a newborn gas mask. They do make them. So we have several babies in the family, so we wanted to make sure that in case of an emergency, we did have some newborn up to age 3 gas mask, and then age 3 up to age 12 gas mask. And anybody over the age of 12, if they're a normal size, child to preteen, they should be able to wear a small woman's or man's gas mask. Then you start getting into face sizes. And we are going to go over that here in just a minute, how to size your gas mask. So the question is, should you buy a gas mask? Should you have these in your prepping stash? No. Go ahead.
Well, I think that having a gas mask or some sort of protective equipment is a good idea.
Yeah. And soldiers, you should be preparing your wife and your children. If they're preparing you for it, you should be preparing your family for it as well. So I think if you're investing in equipment for yourself, invest the same equipment for your family. With all the stories of war and everybody that's getting nuclear arms, nuclear plants that are getting older, tsunamis and hurricanes and things that are knocking like Japan and that nuclear event. I think we're thinking about it more.
But you do what you can do. You do your best that you can do, and being prepared isn't a bad thing.
So the 8 things, and I've got my notes here, and John's got a copy of the same notes. There are 8 things that you want to consider before buying a gas mask, okay? Number 1 is surplus gas masks usually aren't a good deal. Okay, so in other words, try to get the best gas mask that you can for the money, but surplus gas masks are usually the Israelis or the Russian gas masks. That's not always your best deal for your family, so be sure and research that. Number 2, gas masks were not created equally. Well, anybody that knows anything about gas masks knows that. That's pretty basic. So be sure and get a professional's advice when you're out shopping for them. Get an NBC gas mask. I think that's very, very important. And write that down. NBC.
Nuclear, biological, and chemical.
I was waiting for that. I knew. I was waiting for it to cue. Okay, 3. You'll need spare filters. These things right here, okay? Or whatever type of filter that your mask takes, most of them are universal. They're interchangeable, but they're not all the same. Remember, you want to make sure that they filter out biological, chemical, and nuclear, and chlorine.
And how long they last.
And how long they last. So you'll want to pick up some extra filters per person. Number four on the list. Your gas mask must be secured before the attack, which means you must have your gas mask on before a chemical or gas or a biological agent or even a nuclear attack. Your gas mask should already be on, secured, and your clothing secured around it and ready to go. Number 6.
You have to attach things, and there's a plug here that allows the air to exchange. And if you don't undo it, then you're basically going to suffocate.
Yeah.
You've got to open this part up, you got to open that part up, and
oh, you got it.
there you go. Allows the air to go through.
Yeah, so see?
This attaches to your
To the end of the hose here.
to the end of the hose.
I can't get this on my head. Let's pretend like it's on my head right here. Let's go ahead and demonstrate this. That goes on to the end of the hose. You can go ahead. Be sure and pull this off. This is the first thing you want to do before even attaching this to the hose.
And you can't breathe if you don't have some way of getting air into the filter.
These are made of safety glass. And they're put on here specifically so they don't leak. The ties here are stretchable. And you just give them a pull. When you put them on, you should be able to pull them just like, here they are, right here, these tabs right here. You should be able to pull them just like that. Tight like that, and that right there should pull them snug. You should be able to just pull it on like that and pull it snug. This piece right here is
The voice box.
well, that's not only just that either, but it's also the escape of your air, where you exhale. So that's right inside this piece right here. Now, when you're fitting a gas mask to a child, so small, medium, large, extra large, and extra larges. So that's 5, I guess, sizes. Because I've got all the sizes. All right, here's another view of the children's gas mask. These are called the, you can see it there. It's called the Everstar Defense Products. And this is model PDFD, and this one is a size small. Okay, and you can get these at www.getmask.com. And these are distributed in the United States from Everstar Defense Products, okay? Where they're made, I don't know. But these are designed to protect against nuclear, biological, and chemical NBC agents, okay? So that's important. Now, this is the small, this is the medium, this is the large, and then the rest of them I have are extra larges, because I know that these right here will fit more age groups than these will fit. Okay, so I know the smallest grandchildren can wear this one up to the oldest grandchildren. All right, and you can see how many here that I have in stock. And like I said, I try to get it so I'll have enough for everybody. And if I end up having more grandchildren or children around us, then we'll just pick some more up as we can. Storage for us is an issue. So, you know, in the area where we'd want to grab and go. And again, like I said, keep the iodine tablets with you. Here I have the 2 infant size to give you an idea of the size between this box and this box. It's a lot harder to store these. So 2 is the maximum you probably need on this, especially if you have twins. And basically what you want is you want to make sure when you're fitting them that the child's nose, let me flip this inside out, it's supposed to be inside out anyway when you store it. See, it should be stored just like this, inside out, fold it out like this right here. This canister should not be on it. And the child's nose should fit just center, his breathing nose, right up here to this center piece here. And his mouth should fit comfortably here. Both eyes should be centered somewhere right in here with the eyepieces. And that's how you know that the gas mask is fit for your child. And you want to get multiple sizes because we know children grow quickly. So you always want to have the different sizes on hand, and you want to have multiples because the child's gas masks aren't that expensive, but you want to make sure your child, I mean, something's better than nothing. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, and you can make it a game, and they can have fun with it. So
yeah, and they can decorate them up, and they're scary. And see, they have that rubber odor to them, that new rubber powdery odor to them. But when you store a gas mask, just store it out like that right there, and then when you put it on the child's face, it just goes like this right here, right over the top. I don't have that small of a head to show you, but, and it just flips right over like that, their head like that. When they're faced at you like this, you want to hold that for me just a second. And then right here, grab a hold of that right there and pull. And when you do, this will secure this band and this right here around the child. And then this part right here can be tied around the child's neck if you want to make sure that they don't pull it back off. Okay? So, and we can go back over that. There's some bands on here that you can tighten up here and here, but you really don't have to tighten. These are made, all you have to do is just pull the green string, and then this right here can be tied around the back of the neck or around the chin. If your child's young enough, you feel that they might want to pull it back off again. And something I forgot to bring with me was our iodine tablet. So we're going to discuss that in another video. Because remember, you should have already taken your iodine tablets at this point as well. Alright? And you'll want to change these filters about every 8 to 12 hours, depending on the filter. You want to be sure and read the instructions on the box of your filter. It depends if it's a chemical weapon, a biological weapon, chlorine, or how close to the situation that you are. I mean, if you haven't been hit by the nuclear fallout, but you're already wearing it, then of course this would last a lot longer. These come in like a little case. Now these aren't the best ones on the market, but like I said, if any of my neighbors, if I get the nicer ones down the road, and I can afford nicer ones down the road, which is my plan. So remember that. On number 6 point, remove that plastic plug, because without that plug in, you could suffocate the child inside the gas mask. It's no more than a plastic bag over their head. Alright. So number 7, your location matters. Now we just discussed this. As attacks will likely happen over larger city areas, most likely first. So that gives you time to get out of Dodge, so to speak. So that's number 7. So you want to identify the problem, whether it's chemical, biological, or nuclear, which is the 3 top threats that any soldier faces. Therefore, it's probably the top 3 threats that you would face as a civilian. Or chlorine. And number 8, which I think is really important, is can you live without a gas mask in a bad situation? Do I have to have a gas mask? I would put them at your top 4 items that you need to prep. Would you agree with that?
Clean food, clean air, clean water, and something, this is just temporary. The gas cloud's going to dissipate, and so you put it on initially, the gas dissipates, the environment's more clean than dirty, and then you can take it off and make sure that you have clean food, clean water, and place to be.
Questions to ask yourself before you buy a gas mask, okay? Take notes. Do you know how and when to use a gas mask? That's something you need to make sure that you know, how and when to use it. Do you have decontamination equipment and know how to decontaminate yourself if something does happen? We're going to go over that in another video. How are you going to drink? Get yourself a specially designed canteen to fit your mask. In some masks, and not the children's mask most likely, and they should have it. Actually, they do in the infant mask. They've got a bottle feeder in the infant style that we're getting ready to show you. But in these right here, they don't have it. But there is a way that you can make one off to the side. There is a way that you can add a straw set to this. So check into that. But do get an adult mask. The adult masks definitely have them, and the newer children's masks have them. And this is why you should really spend a little bit more money and make sure that you can get the attachment to the plastic canteen, which keeps out fallout, chemical and biological agents as well, and it helps you have some clean water till you get to a safe location.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it just has a little straw that goes up in there. So be sure and put that on your list to make sure that you have one that you can get a drink through without taking. You never want to take your mask off to eat or drink. The next thing is you should stock things that are healthy for you to drink to put in your canteen, but that doesn't go bad, that needs refrigeration. So like that video when he made Pedialyte, that would be a really good drink for your child. So right now we're discussing children, but it would also work for you as an adult as well. Mm-hmm. It's a good way to keep up your fluids, keep in your salt, your potassium, and your zinc intake. Do you know how to put on a child's gas mask? Okay, well, we just discussed that with you. Okay, so the next question would be, can you afford to be without a gas mask? And I already answered that for you. The answer would be no. And again, be sure and pull off this bottom tab to keep from suffocating. You don't want to chop your child to suffocate in here. It's no different than putting a garbage bag over their head. You've got to pull that bottom tab out of the filter. That's the number one thing. You should put that in the top list. Pull bottom tab. Before you put the filter on the hose, pull that bottom tab. I believe that gas masks are important for the prepper family, for preparedness. And like I said, just get your entire family used to putting them on, adjusting each other's straps, making sure that they understand how they fit on the face, getting on their biological chemical suits, their gloves, their footwear, their goggles. You know, if it's a biological, you might just have the N95 mask. They'll need the... If you don't have a lot of money, then John will tell you something is better than nothing. So this would be my list of things that I would tell you to get. Would be an inexpensive, would be the Israeli adult survival gas mask with the NBC NATO filters. Remember the NATO filters, that's NATO. And get 4 extra air filters for each mask, for each family member, for each mask, minimum. And then of course your children's, and they can be the Russian version or the Israeli version. That's fine. And these come in gray or black. And I want to remind everybody that when you go online, you'll notice that they're selling children's gas masks really quickly. So if you think you just want to stop, maybe like on eBay, and you quit bidding on it because you think it's just too much money, well, just remember there might not be any more left to bid on when an SHTF situation happens, you know, or an accident happens down the road. You're better off paying a little bit more money now, getting the nicer ones, get what you need, and having them. And remember the iodine tablets, that's very important. So we hope that we've covered some of the points that you needed, some of your questions answered on about children's gas mask and family gas mask, when to buy one, do you need one, and how to shop for one. We hope we answered your questions. If you have gas mask, be sure and leave us a comment either on my site on Twitter, on Janie Pendleton Twitter, or on Janie Pendleton at Facebook, or at Janie Pendleton at YouTube, and leave us a comment, or even under this video, and let us know what you think, and if you have gas masks, what kind you have, and do you have them for your children. You know, let us know how you prepare. Okay.
When you store a gas mask, Jenny was saying that you open it up, you'll be able to put it on the child's face.
Yeah.
And
you want to put it on my face? You put it on my face and then demonstrate me. I don't mind.
So, a little smaller face than mine, a little smaller face than Janie's. And once you get it on, this is the filter. And before you get it on, you pull the tab.
Oh, sorry, I was playing with it. I was playing with the children's gas mask.
And then you attach.
And I would pull this up over like this, and it would be ready to go.
Yeah. Now I'm going to hold it, and she's going to pull the things back.
Yeah, if it's on my little head, this doesn't fit my little head. This is a size small, by the way. Yeah, it just fits like this. This would fit a 3.5-year-old up to probably about a 5-year-old, 4 to 5-year-old, to give you an idea.
Play with it before you get in an emergency situation, and make a game out of it, and the children can have a good time with it. Make sure there's no gaps or any breaks here.
Let them decorate them up. Let them put sparkles on there. That ain't going to hurt nothing. Let them put little sparkles on the outside. Let them put fake eyelashes on here or something. I seen one that was dressed up like Mickey Mouse, so had little Mickey Mouse ears on it. Make it fun for them so they won't be scared of them.
Every 8 hours, go ahead and change your filter, and they'll have to hold their breath really shortly. And,
yeah, they have to hold their breath while you're changing filters out.
You could pinch this and you just screw another one on.
But if they've had their iodine tablets, then you're probably not going to get enough nuclear fallout. But it's the chemical agent, so you just have to make sure that, and if they're not old enough to hold their breath, it's not going to matter, because we're getting ready to show you. You want to make that part too, is there anything?
Well, you can show the infant one.
Okay.
And you can put it wherever you need to put it.
Okay, and they'll come in these handy little bags like this. All right. And then you can just put this bag, and while they're wearing this, they can actually put this canister in the hose part here and carry it like this. That helps take the weight off of their little arms and stuff. You can even put it around their chest like this and put the canister hose. You know, while they're wearing it like this, you can put that canister hose down in here like this. That's a good way for them to carry the canister, just like that. And if they're not wearing the gas mask yet and they don't have it on yet, then this right here, just stuff it in here like this right here. Make sure that that's folded back for a quick put on. Slip that in like this. Button it up like that and have them carry it on them. Out the door they go, just like that right there. Just make sure that they have that with them. And again, you might want to put some of the iodine tablets inside the bag. Okay? And iodine tablets don't go bad. Just don't keep them with some oxygen absorbers or something like that in there, because you just don't want them to get wet or get moist. The oxygen or the iodine tablets that are good for your thyroid, that clear out the bad iodine that's in nuclear fallout. That's as important as the gas mask as far as nuclear fallout goes. And an iodine tablet, you want to take what, maybe about maybe anywhere between 3 to 7 hours prior to a fallout event, if you know that it's going to happen. But don't take it unless you know for sure that it's heading your way. That would be a waste of pills, and it's not going to hurt you. For an infant, follow the directions, but my pills say to give half to the children and infants, 2 for an adult. Anybody over the age of, I think, 15 or 16, be sure and read the directions on your pill bottle. I don't have them with me. I forgot to bring them. But yeah, and they won't hurt you taking them either. And then you'll want to take them every day. In some cases, you might even take them twice a day. But this cleans out, this puts so much of the good iodine in your thyroid that it won't absorb the bad iodine that's in fallout. You can clean this with just an alcohol swab, and I had some with me, but apparently I forgot them. And I want to show you the older teens or the moms, just a simple bag like this right here, like you carry to school. My daughters had this when they were in high school, and I hung on to it, and it's, instead of turning it into a diaper bag, see, I just turned it in to the gas mask bag, just like that right there. And then I just keep this down inside of our shelter. Now, a lot of you don't have a bomb shelter, I realize this. So just keep them then in a nice box under the bed. Just keep them handy, and be sure and keep your iodine tablets with them, okay? Mm-hmm. And keep at least a minimum 30-day supply of iodized tablets per person. Now, a lot of people think the government's going to come through and send out those iodized tablets they've been buying lately. No, that's for the military and for themselves and for the politicians. It's not for you. You think it is? Odds are they're not going to get. I mean, do you really think the mail's going to get to every person in America, and a soldier's going to come knocking on every door in the country and in the city and in every apartment building in America with pills for you and with supplies and gas masks for you? Do you really think your neighbor's going to let you in and you're going to use theirs? No. If you're not preparing and you're not with them, you're going to be against them. And as far as the military goes, those soldiers aren't going to come home and help mom and dad and their families. They're going to be doing active duty service. They're going to be away from home. Even if they're released, by then odds would be too late. So you wouldn't have enough time for the mailman to come knocking on your door to get a government supply of iodine tablets or a gas mask. Again, go look at that link. I'll put it again right here. Go watch the Chernobyl link. Most of those children died because the gas masks were not fit on them properly, or because the gas mask got to them too late. The fallout had happened 3 hours prior to them admitting that the fallout happened. And don't think that that can't happen here, because we just had a nuclear plant in Southern Illinois, or just south of Southern Illinois, Missouri, somewhere right in there, and the cloud drifted across the fields in Kentucky. They're saying that didn't happen, but people saw the cloud. They're saying that's the water. But you and I both know that there would be no reason to use the water if it didn't escape. So, because now you've got water droplets with fallout in it. That means whenever time it rains up here in northern central Indiana, we're getting the fallout from whatever happened down there a few hours later. So, and we have nuclear power plants all the way around us. All around all the Great Lakes areas. Michigan City has a power plant, Illinois, Ohio, Indiana, Missouri, we've got them all around us. So if one goes down, odds are the wind may be blowing your way, our way. So keep that in mind about the fallout. So this subject can go on forever. I told you. We might have to break this down into 2 videos. But anyway, I hope that that answered some of your questions on how to buy and how to purchase a mask. Just like a fire drill, you want to practice it and make sure that they're under the understanding of what it's really for. And I promise you, as an adult, they'll be far more responsible. And I think your dad, being a prepared person, and your mom, I mean, you ended up going into the medical field. So I think you want to help others and give them your knowledge. I mean, do you think that had a lot to do with why you...
Well, when Jacob got sick, I mean, it opened up a new area that there's some things you can take care of, and some things that you learn may seem really simple, but they can save a life.
Yeah, that's true. Just remember, you can't live in a gas mask. Eventually, you got to eat solid foods. So the whole idea is to take those hours, find your mapping route, make a map of your route, get in your car, and leave the area if you can. In our next episode, we're going to do the infant gas mask, and then the following 3rd episode, we're actually going to cover nuclear fallout and when to know when to stay home and when to bug out, when to leave. So we're going to be covering that as well. So you're going to want to hit that subscribe button because we have a lot coming up. This is Dr. Jane Pendleton with my husband, Dr. John Pendleton. We want to thank you for joining us for this episode of the Prepper Series on our little homestead. Blessings. Hi, it's Dr. Janie Pendleton. We are back with my husband, Dr. John Pendleton, and today we are discussing the importance of gas masks. Now, we're going to do an episode on infant and newborn gas mask next. Okay, I promised to show you real quick the infant gas mask. Now, it just comes like this right here. It's got a carry strap that you can adjust, or the quick carry handle. It's got 3 tabs here that you can open. Inside here on the lip, you're going to find a bottle, okay? This is the actual bottle. You need to keep this with this, and it's got some extra bottle liners here. Make sure you keep this with it, and try not to puncture these little pieces here. All right, that's very important because this particular bottle goes with this kit. Inside, you'll find some instructions, and again, it'll give you step-by-step in multiple languages. We have Arabic, Hebrew, English, and so you just have to find your directions for yours, okay? Now in here, you have okay. In here you have the motor. Okay, and in here you have the actual baby carry pad. The baby will go on this. This is the back side. Okay, and this is great too if it's a biological or Ebola or whatever. This actually pumps air into the infant. All right, so when we open this up, what we have here is we have this infant gas mask. This will be the back side of it. This is the strap for mommy and a shoulder strap for mommy to carry it on mommy. A little Velcro piece here to put the motor on, and you can see here, John's demonstrate this right here is the other side of the Velcro, and that's the last thing you want to do. Meanwhile, you sit your child upright, or if it's a baby, she'll fit all the way in here. It's all right if try to tuck their feet in here if you can. And what you want to do is before you attach anything, because you don't want your child to suffocate in here, these are the arm wings right here, and you'll see the little pull zip cords right here. Just push this little button here and gather that up like that. And get your child so that way the air will stay tight on them. Now you don't want to cut off their circulation on their wrist, but you do want to make sure that this puffs up with air. You want to make sure that they're getting good clean air when you turn this motor on. This is the motor, and you'll find it down here in the corner. All right, so the first thing you want to do is you're going to unzip this. It will unzip kind of tight. That's just the type that it is. You'll open this up, and inside will be this piece here. The filter pops right out of that piece.
Yes.
You want to pull this cord right here off, re-break the tape, come over to this side and screw this in. Make sure you do this step right here, because this right here can cause your child to suffocate. This is the most important part of the filter, these two pieces. Without this, you're not doing anything to save your child. This is the filter. That goes inside the motor. Make sure it snaps in, and again, these would be off of there. We're not taking them off right now. And then you take this piece off, and you'd see this screw end right here on the side of your unit. This screws on right here. Make sure you screw it on tightly so there's no leaks. Then this would be on here like this, and you'd put the motor on like this on the Velcro. Okay? And that right there is how the motor attaches. And I would actually change out that Velcro, and I'd put some better Velcro on there, because I don't think that's a very sturdy Velcro. And that's just my opinion. That's this particular one. Now, you'll notice on here you've got some yellow straps. Okay? You've got the arm wings. You've got some pieces here. You've got some easy to use clips here. What we're going to do, and this right here again is the shoulder strap for the mommy or daddy strap right there, and that can come unclipped if you don't want that. So what you do is, if it's an older child, you sit the child down with the feet out and the body erect right here, and you'd slip this over them like this. You'd slip their arms through here, slip their arms through here. You'll notice right here is the nipple for the bottle right here, and that's where this bottle right here attaches to on the outside, so you can give them some supplements and some nutrition while they're inside the bag. And if it's a newborn baby, of course, it'll lay flat just like this, and their arms wouldn't have to go in here at all. You could just pinch these off with a couple of rubber bands, okay? Just like that right there. You can pinch the arms off with a couple of rubber bands. Now you've got a couple of zippers here. Once you slip this over your child's body, like this right here, and get their arms in, and you pull these strings tight around their wrist, then you'll want to take and you'll want to zip this down. Now this right here is to hold on to it while you pull. It's a really hard one to pull. There you go. And even if they're fussy, ouch. Trust me, it's hard to pull. There you go. Then once they're in, you take these two plastic tabs right here, and you give them a pull apart like that right there. And then you just pull it apart all the way down. This fluffs the sack out, and then the motor itself is already running. Be sure and already start that motor running before you put your child in here, okay? Now, once your child is in here, and they're either sitting like this with their legs straight out and their heads up here, then inside of here, you'll notice this piece right here inside. See that right there? This piece right here is for their binky. Okay? So if they have a pacifier or something between feedings, then you can give this for them. Or if they're an older child, maybe put a sucker, you know, one of those lollipop sticks or something, like one of those sucker rings, one of those little diamond ring things. Do something to pacify them, because this can be rather tedious and rather scary for a child. Like I said, this will hold a child from newborn up to 3 years old. Depending on the size of your child, if you have a smaller child, you could probably put a 3.5 to 4-year-old in here. I mean, you know, in an emergency. All right, so now once they're in here, then you want to take this piece right here, and you can adjust that strap here. You can adjust this strap here, okay? And you clip them in right here, red to red, yellow to yellow. Just remember that. Okay, and then you want to pull it tight like that right there, and tie that around their waist just like that right there until you get a nice snug fit. Or if it's a newborn, you might even have to tape it right here on the bottom just to keep the air from coming in. Find a way to get the air to come in just like that right there. Okay, now this piece right here is an extra filter right here, and you can clean that, but that's where their carbon dioxide exits the suit right here. So the air comes in here, Carbon dioxide exits right here. Let me make sure they can see that. So remember, the filtered air comes in from the motor here. Carbon dioxide exits here. Okay? And this is the infant, the newborn up to 3.5-year-old, maybe even a 4-year-old if she or he is pretty small. This would be their type of gas mask that they would use. And like I said, a newborn would just fit up here in the plate, and you could kind of tape that down. But just make sure that you have this piece off and that paper piece off to make sure that the air is actually coming through here. Put your hand up in here and make sure that you feel that air coming through here before the infant's put inside. Make sure you feel that. All right? I hope this has helped you understand about infant gas masks. And yes, they do make them. That's the #1 question that I get. And they're not that expensive. I picked up 2 of these because we got grandkids coming. And I picked up 2 of these with the bottles, with the motors. And again, you want to be sure and have the extra batteries. And check this constantly. You don't want to be driving down the road and realize that your child's batteries quit working and they've suffocated. You want to make sure that the motor, you check the motor every few minutes. Make sure that baby's with you and you're checking the motor. Husbands, if you're driving the car, make sure that your wife's in the back seat with the children or the babies that are in these type of gimmicks. Again, you don't want your children to suffocate. I can't speak of that high enough. So I hope this has helped you. You can pick one of these up for around $40 to $50, $60 for one of these, and I think they're very worth it. Okay? We have grandchildren coming, and if anything were to happen, I know that I have these and I can just hand these, and if they don't use them, then I can give them to the neighbors. I mean, obviously, I can't use this, but let's say one of our children came down with Ebola and I had to get them to the hospital. I would probably put my child in this and get them to the hospital so that way they wouldn't touch or have less chances of getting someone else sick as well. So even for Ebola, this type of unit where you're actually processing clean air, or if you're taking your child to an area where you know they have a disease or something, again, this can be used for that as well. So, I mean, I see multiple purposes for this use. And if you see them getting on the airplanes, John, with the Ebola patients, you'll notice that they have motors like this on their chemical suits and the big air face bags like this. This is the exact same concept that they're using when they were helping the Ebola patients on the American Airlines. So, so this is just something that I think is important. This one's a little older, it's a little bit discolored, but that does not affect it at all. As long as there's no rips, tears, or scrapes in it, this is fine. This will work fine for what it's for. And this is a chemical, biological weapon, and this will help against chlorine as well, because that all has to do with the filter itself, okay? And nuclear fallout, all right? So I want to thank my husband for helping to demonstrate. And I hope if you have any questions that you'll leave a comment below. You can find these in multiple places. I've seen them on eBay, Amazon, Craigslist. I've seen these in several places, but they are getting harder and harder to get your hands on. And don't wait until you need one to buy one. We just keep these. You can store these under your bed or in the closet or in your shelter. Okay? This is Dr. Janie Pendleton with my husband, Dr. John Pendleton. We want to thank you for joining us. Blessings.
Blessings.
I just want to say it's very important to know how to use your equipment and practice it before you need it. Because that can add an extra 15, 20 minutes onto your time of getting it on your child. Just stores right in there just like that. This right here is where it's scraped a little bit. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to try to put that down. I'll zip it down and keep it in better condition. There we go. There's the bottle. Pull that out. It's got sticky tape on it. Hey, a nipple's a nipple, right? I don't know how you... we go. It definitely needs a little bit more like Velcro, doesn't it? There you go. And the directions right here, right where you need them, right there. And make sure when you close this that there's nothing here to get hit or torn on this edge. It's very important. Energizer photo batteries, 30 volts. Okay, so these are the batteries that they take. I'm gonna show this to you up close. You can see that. They come in a box inside like this. They are a photo battery, 1, 2, 3, 30 volt. To give you an idea what size they are, there's my hand. Okay? And these were up in 2012, so we need to get some new batteries. Yeah, check your batteries.